So I have a question for you, and I think this is going to be very different to different people. What makes someone a good rider? What metric is it that you would, measure people by to know whether they are a good rider? To some people, a good rider is someone who is very, very attentive and keeps to the speed limits and all of that sort of stuff. Other people might say it's someone who has a bit of fun, but is also doing it in a way that they are fully aware of what they're doing. And there's also people who are just quite impressively skilled with their motorcycle abilities to ride, but how long they're going to survive doing that is a questionable thing. I know some people like that, and I'm concerned for you. Honestly, some of those TikTok memes I've seen of guys saying, if I die on my bike, then at least you'll know I was happy doing what I was doing. It is incredibly cringy to me to say stuff like that. It just is. I mean, I agree, like Ken Block recently passed. He passed while playing around on snowmobiles and having fun. And, he didn't go through getting old. Absolute legend of a man and will be missed massively. I'm glad I wasn't coming the other way. This whole playing on mental health stuff and, basically, I can't use the words because YouTube doesn't allow you to talk about it, but just, you know what that's referring to. People who use the excuse of I am sad to ride recklessly. As I've always said in the past, I have no issue with the way that you choose to ride. If you choose to ride in a way that means you won't survive more than 10 minutes, that is completely on you, that's fine. But if you hurt someone else is involved, that is not fine. And there was an example of someone being killed, I believe it was last year or the year before, by a motorcyclist. As I understand it, someone came off their bike, the bike hit someone and they're dead now. So don't think that, I'm only putting myself at risk. I'm also saying not to be a goody two-shoes about it. As you know, I like to have a bit of fun on bikes. I do things at the right time, right place. I'm currently in town. I'm not going to be doing anything too mental here, besides the fact that it's very slippery and the road conditions aren't great. The problem is we won't know from the answers, how long people have been riding, what experience they have. New riders, as we say, very often are the ones that are saying, I think that I should be allowed to get 1,000cc at 17. And you ask someone who's been riding for 20 years and they're like, no, you silly Billy. You don't know how powerful a 1,000cc bike is, and you don't know why people don't advise you get one. I'm not about to get into the argument of is a 1,000cc bike a good bike as a first bike, because obviously how much you twist that throttle is directly dependent on how fast you go. So it more comes down to your ability to self-control. And that at a younger age tends to be less developed and more emotional based. Not with everyone, some perfect example, some 19-year-old has an argument with his girlfriend, jumps in his car, wheel spins off, and he crashes into someone because he's mad. That is not okay. Emotional riding and driving is not really a great thing for anyone. As I say, I really do not care if people hurt themselves on bikes, because it is your decision to do that. That is the world we should live in, where you can make a dumb decision and get hurt and just deal with it yourself. But if someone else gets involved in it, that's when I have an issue. A good example of that is a wheelie worth your license? Because they will likely take your license off you for doing a wheelie. One of my patrons at the moment is going through court backwards and forwards. Be interested to see what actually happens in the end, to do with the fact that he was caught doing a wheelie. And he may lose his license over this. Because I know the dude, I hope he doesn't, because as safely as you can do it, I think he was doing it in he was doing it in a mildly sensible location, but he was unfortunate enough to do it in front of a police car. So, yeah. Now, to be clear, I get on great with this guy, and I can happily say to him, if you get hurt on a bike, I'm not going to feel that sorry for you. If it's your fault, if you're doing these sorts of things. And he accepts that, and that's good. That's the way the world should be. It's like being able to agree to disagree. But the question remains, what makes someone a good rider in your mind? To me, it's someone who is 100% aware of what's going on around them, can predict things, can see things coming, has fun when they want to in the right time and place, and is skilled in using their machine. That makes someone a good rider. I'm not saying I am definitely that or not. But I do tend to see things coming. I do tend to be the person that everyone's like, wow, you're just so calm with these things when people pull out on you. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I saw it coming miles away. And I've had my crashes, it's funny we should say that. 2012, so 11 years ago nearly, I had a crash that did me a pretty nasty damage right there. I have been airborne back there. I was somewhere in the air, Superman and it out, looking cool, with bits of bike stuck in my knee. As I say, if you've got someone who was really fast on a track and they're quick riding around the road, to me that doesn't make them a good rider. That makes them maybe a skilled rider, a fast rider. And there are many sayings to go around about the fast, There's old riders and bold riders, but not both, and things like that. I just see it from the perspective now, at least, that if I reduce my speed, if I reduce my risks by just a few percent, that actually really brings down my risks of getting hurt. But unfortunately, that doesn't cover up for other people being complete idiots on the road, which is the bigger issue these days, at least for me. Which is where I've had to push my observational skills, my judgment skills, like the fact that this van is here blocking that road there on the left, and I will slow here just in case someone goes, do you know what, going for it. Now a bit of defensive riding. I have right of way. You are now going to not do that to me. Thank you. He gestured at me as if I was in the wrong for him having to stop to give me right of way. I have a video on this. Suck my balls. You will wait. The interesting thing is, when I've talked about that, people have said that I was wrong. But when you look at all the comments from the instructors, they say, yes, we do not teach this to new people, but we do teach this in our advanced riding, because we expect you to have the skills and the knowledge and the ability to... I've gone around in a circle, haven't I? You're not coming around? Ah! People who can't indicate. You should have the ability by that point in your riding career to be able to judge these things and be able to get out of that situation should you need to in a quick hurry. It just amazes me how confidently wrong people can be, and also how much they undervalue my experience and the fact that I've spent many years talking about stuff like this. And trust me, if I get something wrong, I know 1,000 times over in 5 seconds. So if I turn around and say, no, that's just not right, I'm pretty confident on it. One of those things only came up today. Someone suggested that the flow inside of an oil filter tightens it up. As in, the oil goes in and it causes a torque twist on it. Now, I knew this to be complete rubbish when I read it. I've asked them to supply some information, and I'll edit this out if it turns out they're correct, but I'm 99.9% sure that they're wrong. But I can accept the fact that I can also be wrong. But my experience is telling me that's complete crap. When I look at a filter, I'm like, okay, so the outer holes are the inlets, the inner holes are the outlets, back into the bike that is, as in the return, and there is no directional holes and no way that oil pressure could impart a torquing motion on that oil filter. What someone else said about the oil filter seal swelling with oil is more accurate. Well, it is accurate, I believe. I do think they swell a little bit as they take on some of the oil, which is one of the reasons they get more stuck. They definitely do not tighten themselves up, yet someone will give you that information as if it is gospelly true. There is a crossing there and you're not using it. I mean, I get you got off your bike and all that. Yeah, no worries, it's fine. Just being a typical cyclist. Sorry, I'm getting very all over the place with this one. As I say, I'm not claiming to be the best rider in the world. I'm just saying I believe my skills are at a level that I can say that I'm experienced and attentive. And if I'm going to say that I have skills anywhere, well, it's in slow control. Still only one person tried my slow control challenge. I've challenged people twice over the years. Two people have tried it. Why is it so hard? Just don't put your feet down like this. Ah, no, fail. I'm leaving it in because I failed. Ah, no. So anyway, welcome to 2023. I'm starting to care a little bit less about everything in a fantastic way. If you enjoy this content, then please support it through Patreon and all the ways that you can, including just hitting that like button and watching another video after this. That's something that really helps with YouTube nowadays. If you watch this video and then another one of my videos, even if you don't watch the whole thing, if you click onto another one of my videos after this, it should, in theory, really help me. So please do. I am now going to go in, what is this, the third circle of this video? It doesn't matter, but this is also part of the reason why I'm going to be doing more sat down videos in the future, because I can't always get off the island because I need to get back. So I want to have a nice place to make videos, to regularly sit down and discuss topics. Oh, it's going to be good. Until the next one, my friends, bye-bye. We're going back over the crash spot again. Oh no!